Welcome, everybody, to Radicalized Truth Survives, episode
153.
Today, High Fidelity and Jim and I have the pleasure of interviewing a founding member of NAFO. That is the North Atlantic Fellows Organization. They have been reinventing information warfare for good, raising millions of dollars to help Ukraine and gumming up the works for the Russians. Have a listen. Oh, Matthew Pearce, we are so grateful that you're joining us today. We are such fans of NAFO and all the good they've done, not only to raise money for Ukraine and millions and millions of dollars, which is just so phenomenal, but also the fact that you guys came together and accidentally disrupted Russian propaganda, disrupted information warfare, and came at it with humor and just, it was really such a phenomenal breakthrough in this war that we find ourselves in, what I've come to start calling the great propaganda wars. But if you don't mind, can you please give our friends a briefing on what NAFO is and also how you came to be a founding member?
Yeah, sure. So the founding member is it's like old guard, so we're called the old guard. We're the old people with the faded avatars that we made ourselves, not the ones that the fancy artists do these days. If you see the new ones, I just look at it going, "Oh my God, they're amazing." Whereas mine is a rip-off of Dilbert that I just pasted in Mac Preview. So yeah, we would. So Karma Chameleon, he started raising money for armor plates. So the Georgian Legion, as was then, I think you interviewed Mamuka actually.
Yeah, Mamuka is a very good friend of this program
he's a
and
cool
Betty
guy.
Dangerous. He's spectacular.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so that was the first thing we did, was send them a plate, just one plate, just from these making money from drawing these avatars of people. And then it went to 2 plates, and then 5 plates, and then 6 plates, and 10, and then it just doubled and doubled and doubled. And then we bought him a anti-drone gun. So that was when we thought, hang on a minute, we're making a lot of money here. We sponsored grenades. So the first thing I noticed that we were leaking into China was there were some social media posts in China of these mortar bombs, and it had "Love from NAFO" and "Get Lost Vatniks" and all this sort of stuff. And the Chinese people going, "What the hell? What's this? What's going on?" And there was these. And then the next thing we did was sponsor a massive artillery gun. So we raised enough money to sponsor the biggest artillery gun we could find, and called it the Super Bonker 9000. So I just love this thought that this huge thing was just rolling towards the Russians with pictures of dogs on it called the Super Bonker. And it it must have been a bit of a sight, with these cartoons on it. And we just carried on, and it just doubled, and now we raise millions of dollars. And Jake Bro and Ragnar at the 69th, they organized these trucks with protection, and I think we were the first crowdsourced people to invade a nuclear state as well. So NAFO trucks went into Kursk as well.
Right.
So we do all of that. We bought the first sea drone as well. So we bought a sea drone that blew up some ships. We funded ground drones, and we fund sort of top high spec development, but also medical equipment, so tourniquets and stuff like that. So we do all that, but because we were doing that, we became sort of like a family, and we hung out on it, Twitter then, and all these Russians were on there talking rubbish all the time, and we were just like, there was only I don't know, 10, 20 of us, and we just sort of posted this crap underneath Ambassador Ulanov's post, and he went, "Why are you pronouncing this nonsense?" And that was it. And then the press just went crazy, and we were on Polish TV, and we were in the background. We were going, "What the hell is going on?" We drove him off Twitter for a week. It was so bad for him. He had to shut his account down. and that was
And
it. It's
tell
like,
us which ambassador that was again, because I
oh,
know that
Ambassador
helped put you on the
Yulianov,
map.
um, ambassador to the UN, I think, in Austria, and we drove him offline. And that's when people realize, hang on a minute, this is something a bit different, something a bit weird.
I just want to
Yeah,
make sure people know that we are talking about NAFO, North Atlantic Fellow
tick fellas.
Organization,
Yeah, that's
is
right.
sort of the acronym.
We have an
But
absolutely fantastic wiki page now, and it says
oh,
NAFO.
good,
Yeah, if you look on Wikipedia for NAFO, it says NAFO is known as a form of information warfare. And that
great.
is absolutely awesome to see that. And I think the
And
first article that I appeared on is linked in there as well for a German newspaper. Um,
that's fantastic. What I want to ask you, and I'm sure this will really be something that is important to the
mhm,
guys here.
yeah,
Why is it so important that the first artist that came up with the first avatar for NAFO
yeah,
repurposed the Doge dog? Because that's how I see it. To me,
yes,
that's the
hmm
most
yeah,
brilliant, way to start this thing.
yeah, yeah. So Karma just saw it, and it was just because it was so popular, and because it was already ubiquitous, it meant that people couldn't try and turn it into an NFT or crypto crap or whatever it is. And we deliberately said no crypto, no NFTs, nothing like that. If you want to make one, you make one, but you can make your own. But make sure you make a donation. We'll check to see you've made a donation. You'll get hassle from the dogs if you haven't, but you can do it. Anyone can do it. There's no purity test. There's no rules. There's no leader. If you want to make your own group, make your own group. It might work. It might not. Um, so there's so many different groups, and some you know about, some that aren't public, but um, and they all do specific things, and that's just it became a social life as well, a family. I told you yesterday about the girl that NAFO has now funded to go to medical school in Spain. Uh, she was there from the start, organizing all these deliveries, and she's our
Wow.
sexy girlfriend, because the Russians
Right.
were calling her a prostitute and things like that. And they said, "Oh, you only do it for your sexy girlfriend." So we turned it into a poster, a World War II poster, saying, "I'm doing everything for my sexy girlfriend," and she loved it. She was absolutely, and so her dad got called up, so we paid for all of his stuff, and he looks like RoboCop. We sort of like we went to town, and so he's got night vision. He's got every armor that you could possibly, and he's like walking around, and God knows what the Russians think. So there's this guy who's just like can covered in this stuff, and because we've got
Completely
the
outfitted up.
fundraising, yeah, the fundraising power of just people coming together for a common cause and then doing other stuff as well. So that positive thing drives us
It's
on, I think. So we've been going for 4 years. And
wow.
the last fundraising we did was we've been recognized several times by the Ukrainian government. They've given us awards and medals and all sorts of stuff. And
Wow.
the positive things that we do helps counteract the crap. So we see Nazi stuff every day on X, and you know, we there's some helpful articles from Bellingcat about how to deal with it, but the positive stuff and just like the family atmosphere that we have. So the British guys, we have a group we call the Main Bastards because Medvedev called us the Main Bastards. So we went, oh, thanks very much. That sounds awesome. So yeah, we're the Main Bastards, and we've got it's like a hangout called the Bonk Inn. So we bonk Vacniks with sticks online. So it's called the Bonk Inn, and it's like a social club. So that helps to balance out the bad things, if you see what I mean. You guys have been doing
Totally.
it for so long that I don't know how you're still here, to be honest. It's horrific in America, but
Same way you are. We keep meeting amazing people along the way. But
okay,
one
yeah,
thing I
yeah, yeah.
want to say is it's no secret to this group that a lot of the old guard are from England. There's a whole British
Hmm.
contingency, and you can tell in the wit that these are very, very smart, literate people who actually know how to fight this kind of
Yeah,
propaganda war. And we're just so grateful you're here. Jim, why don't you go next?
yeah, yeah.
It's really good to talk to you. I've been an admirer for many years, and I believe we've encountered each other
Yeah,
online in various things, and I have
discussions. Yeah,
yeah, and I have lots and lots of people flying the NAFO flag,
yeah, yeah.
following me, lots of them, many. The thing that I'm very interested in is how you're still around 4 years later, still doing positive things, still
Yeah.
actually accomplishing your goals. Because whenever I've tried to do it, and I'm not perfect at it,
Hmm.
but it's really hard not to be infiltrated, not to have it exploded from the inside.
Yeah.
In America, just to give you two sort of examples
Hmm.
of things that I think might be relevant to the conversation. One is anonymous. We
Hmm.
had we had a kind of underground, anonymous group that
Hmm.
meant was supposed to be doing good, and over not that long a
Yes.
period
Yeah.
of time, it became completely
Yep.
corrupt.
Hmm.
And then the other example I wanted to give is the example of Antifa, which doesn't actually exist really,
Yep.
but is used as a cudgel,
Yeah.
as a
Hmm.
label. And
Yep.
you've managed to not have that happen to you as well. So th
Yep.
those are the two kind of things that I'm most
Yeah.
impressed with
Okay.
NAFO, and I just wanted to get your advice because in America we need, and I'll shut up. In
Yes. All right.
America, we need what you're doing. We need underground fellowships, and
Hmm.
fellowship is exactly the right term
Yeah,
for it.
that's what it is. Yeah, that's what we call it, a
You know,
fellowship.
we need
Yeah.
that here, and so any
Okay.
advice you have
Yeah.
about how to avoid
Okay.
those pitfalls that we've,
Yeah,
had
sure.
here.
So the first thing is I've got some friends in Ukraine themselves. Some of them are fighting. Um, some of them are not alive anymore, but I have a couple of friends that I talk to regularly from Ukraine. They keep me grounded, and so my life here is far more comfortable and your life is far more comfortable than anything that they are going through. Um, so first of all, I'm doing it for them. So that's the thing to remember. And it was so we've become really good friends. And recently, I sent them a set of we fundraised here for a set of bagpipes for one of their kids. And so I went to the post office and I said, I'd like to send this parcel, please. And they went, what is it? It's bagpipes. They went, right. Where is it going? It's going to Ukraine. And they went, just looked at me as if some kind of loon. But yep, I've sent bagpipes. Some of the stuff we've sent has been on sort of top secret missions and all sorts of stuff. And that's what keeps us going. You know, we see the direct impact of what we're doing. So we know that we can change, we've had a positive impact. We can see that it works. That keeps us going. The second thing is that we are decentralized. You can infiltrate one of the groups, yeah, whatever. That'll collapse. Loads of groups have collapsed. Everyone's made mistakes. I made mistakes setting these groups up. There are lots of groups. Not all of them are connected, but they have the same avatar and they have the same goal. So if they come together, they know which direction they're going in, but they're doing things differently. Um, they're compartmentalized. It's just the way we designed it. Um, and so, yeah, go ahead, infiltrate I don't know, the German cat division if you want. And then there'll be there is a German cat division, by the way. And if they get infiltrated, then oh well, we'll just set up another German cat division somewhere else that you don't know
Oh,
about. And so
he has one
that
rule. They'll take anybody, and the only rule is you just can't be a dick.
yeah, that's
It's
it.
like
Yeah, yeah.
just don't be a dick.
Yeah. There's no purity tests. There's no rules. Um, if you want to buy a fella, you donate to Ukraine, and that's basically it. If you want to walk away, walk away. If you want to set up your own group, set up your own group, and see if you get people. So it's like and I said it was like this sort of evolution. It's sort of like a Darwinian type thing, where you get all these ideas at the start, and then some of them work, some of them don't, and then the patterns start to evolve, they start to work, and then those ones get reinforced. So the ones that fail,
And
if they get, there have been groups where people have turned out to be arseholes or frauds or whatever. We know that's bound to happen, but because there's so many other groups, it carries on. So that's, that's the most, I think someone called NAFO like slime mold. Yeah. So you can cut off a bit, but it still keeps moving towards wherever it's going. And it doesn't feel that pain of that thing going. It just carries on. And so that's why it works. It's internet slime mold.
and, and then to answer Jim's question about what can we do, I know that you have opinions on
Yes.
both the
Oh,
frog,
very,
which I think you
very,
thought was brilliant, and then also tell
yeah.
Jim your thoughts on what Gavin Newsom is doing because he's in
Yeah.
California.
Okay. So the frog is the next theft of the. So we stole the doggy. You guys need to steal the frog. You have to steal the frog because it's Peppy the frog. It's the honkler. The honkler is the most horrible thing, where they use the clown face to sell fascism, Nazism, anti-Semitism. So if you can steal the honkler, that is hilarious. That's just awesome, because there's a guy called, what's his name? Thomas Massey, and I've got a picture of him wearing a Clown World t-shirt, a horrible t-shirt, yeah. And so I posted on there, I said, does everyone know you're a Nazi? And he went, and there were people going, what are you talking about? And he blocked me just because I said that Clown World means you're a Nazi. What are you doing? And he blocked me. And I thought, wow, I get blocked by American politicians. This is awesome. And then um, what's his name? Mike Lee. Mike Lee called for a investigation in the Senate about NAFO. We're still waiting for that invitation. I'd love to come.
Speaking of
Um,
Nazis,
sorry, sorry.
Speaking of Nazis,
Brr.
Based
So
Mike Lee, yeah.
yeah. So he literally went on there and said, "Who are these NAFO people? They must be funded by the CIA." We all live in Langley, by the way. I'd just like to say that you can tell by the locations on our accounts. Everyone
uh-huh,
lives in Langley,
uh-huh.
but
So brilliant.
we live in the kennels next door. James Comey gave us a long lease on the kennels. Just no one can find them. So that
Soros, how many times have you been accused of being paid by Soros?
millions of
Yes,
times, yeah.
millions and
But
millions. Of course,
yeah. So
because it's.
but we take it as a compliment. We take
Of
it as a
course,
compliment. Yeah,
yes, you are the
yeah, yeah,
outgroup.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't care. So all this trolling was basic. It was it's like advertising for us, um, and so
Yeah.
every time we got mentioned, we got more money, right? Um,
Wow.
so another thing I was going to say is, where is everybody on X? You guys need to be back on X. Yeah, Elon Musk bought it to
Yeah.
get rid of you, and you just
Yeah.
left. You all just
Yeah.
left because I remember that happening.
I hated
And
that so much. I
Yeah.
hated that.
but
It was the
you
wrong
basically,
thing to do. You're
yeah,
just
you
giving up
ceded the
territory.
battleground. Yes,
Yeah.
you ceded the battleground, and they
Yeah.
didn't have to fire a shot. And
Yep.
if I can say anything, get back on there. I mean, you look at all the people in that protest. How many were there actually who were actually there? I don't know. You guys can tell me. But if they all
7 million.
right, so if they all
Plus, yeah.
joined, so if they all joined back, if they came back, you don't have to
Mm.
pay for it. It's free. For God's
Yep.
sake, just get on there and start doing stuff again, because we know we haven't left. In fact, we've done more and more on there, deliberately, just because it annoys them, right? So
Right.
you need to start annoying them. And
And on that note, tell Jim and Hi-Fi and our viewers your philosophy about what Gavin Newsom is doing. So I think it's very
yeah, oh,
interesting.
it's very interesting, very, very important. So he's like he's broken that sort of expectation, but he's also disarmed Trump's social media posts. So they can't complain about what Newsom is writing, because it is exactly the same as Trump. So if they start talking about him, they're complaining about him. And that terrible plane thing. I mean, it's not funny. It was a 4-year-old thing. And then Gavin Newsom did the same thing. I was like, yes, finally. Yes, you have to start. If they go to the gutter, sometimes you have to do the same thing because it disarms what they're doing. Because Trump isn't special. He's not got some sort of magic power. So if just a random politician on your side just starts doing the same thing, it breaks that magic spell, if you sort of mean. Oh, hey, he's doing the same thing. Does that mean what? And it's the double leg, the Bobby McFerrin moment where it breaks the expectations,
Also, you were said it's very important that he's doing all caps, because when he's doing all caps, they can't then say, well, Trump is doing all caps. So it's like the
yeah,
mimicry makes
and the
it
parody,
difficult.
yes, it
Jim's
makes it
written about
difficult.
this too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really important,
I was just
really,
going to
really
say
important.
to me, it's like a virus that mimics, a
Hmm.
regular a normal
Yep,
cell,
yep.
and escapes through the
Hmm.
the
Yep.
normal defenses by looking
Yes.
like. So for everybody who's on X and they see this tweet, it's got to
Hmm.
be from Trump, right? Because who
Yes,
else
this is
writes
it.
like that? And then they have to read it because and then
Oh,
the
yeah, that's it.
message lands anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's a
that is so
beautiful
important.
hack.
And I just thought, finally, someone vaguely gets what is going on, and I was just so happy. I was really pleased. Um, and
And that is something that is also scalable if people return to the battlefield. Jim and I never left. Hi-Fi has been kicked off it more than 100 times because he's like a one-man troll army. He grew
yeah,
up
I've
on the
yeah,
internet and
and
grew
yeah,
up in
I've
these
been
chat
suspended as
spaces.
well. I got
Yeah, that's what I
suspended for
figured.
yeah, I've been suspended once, but I got resurrected. Um, I made some rather rude references about JD Vance's affinity for sofas. So
Oh, that's that very timely.
yeah, yeah, um,
You can't.
Hi-Fi.
You can't get suspended for that now.
yeah.
That's like,
No, no, no. I, yeah, I can.
I guess so. Wow.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but we do have boosting teams that sort of make us look quite popular. So maybe it got boosted to the top. I don't know. Um,
Well
but
done.
um,
That's actually something I want to ask you about is so you're doing your work on social media platforms.
mm,
Can you talk about the platform manipulation you have encountered, such as shadow banning, silencing of NAFO voices, arbitrary suspensions?
mhm.
Are you
Yeah, all of that.
encountering those things?
Yeah,
All
we
of
have
that?
been. Well, we have been from day one before Musk. Musk did not make it any worse for us. It's been bad from day
Interesting.
one. It's been bad from day
Yeah.
one. Um, so yeah, so
I got
we have not
suspended by
noticed.
Jack, not by Elon.
Oh, congratulations.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. I see Blue Sky and Threads as part of the same thing,
Yeah.
to get you guys off. Um, so
exactly.
um, I went on Threads for about an hour and it was an echo chamber, so I left. It's just pointless. Um, you can see our impact because there's a representative called Luna, something or other. I can't remember her name. She's a lunatic, I guess. She's a nutter.
Oh,
Um,
Paulina
I
Luna, that one?
I
yes,
call her
her, yes,
She's
Svetluna.
the most
Svetluna.
Russian. She's the most
yes,
Russian since Rohrabacher.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
She's
she's
terrible.
Yeah, good
brainwashed by
call.
the
Yeah,
KGB
she's
right
terrible.
now.
She's
Yeah,
terrible. But she started posting some crap, and then within half an hour, she posted again. Where have all these bots come from? They're posting the worst messages ever. And she started complaining. I went, yes, she's reading our stuff. So and I was going, but why isn't this happening all the time? We can do this stuff, and she'll complain about it. But why isn't she complaining about the Americans on from the Democrat side or from the left? Where are you guys? What are you doing? You're not there. How can you expect to win if you're not there?
Well, that's something we've been asking for 4 years as we've been doing this show.
Yeah.
Um, So I want to just make a quick segue before we run out of time.
Yeah, sorry, I'll talk
Matt,
forever.
no, so will we. And please feel free to come back as news breaks or there's
Sure,
fundraisers
sure,
or
sure,
anything
sure.
that you want to
Thank
do.
you.
I
Yeah, that'd
just
be
I
awesome.
just want to read a couple lines of what I call your poetry. So Matthew has a Substack. It's Matt P, Matt P on Substack.
That's
And
another joke, PP.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
We're all 12. It's okay.
I know,
Yeah,
I
cool.
know.
Yeah.
That's why we all get along here so well because we're kids. So your Substack has an incredible, you're doing an incredible series, multiple
Yeah.
series. One is the pipeline. You also wrote about the nonsense tax, which I want the
Yeah.
guys to know about because you quantified how much disinformation
Hmm.
costs America, and it's in the
Yeah.
trillions. So it's not
Yes.
just the loss of people. He actually put numbers to what it costs. You have this incredible series called When the Fields Fought Back, and I think it's probably your most important work. And in it, he breaks down over the decades, the different revolutions that occurred, and he brings us up to the time that we're in right now. Some of the lines go like this: the Holocaust remained the dark heart of the century, proof that order and evil could be twins. It was filmed, cataloged, witnessed, then packaged. We learned how to remember without feeling. I think that's really just incredibly important. And then there's another line I want to read. We sold our silence for free chat. Every scroll was a harvest, but not ours. Algorithms learned us like lovers, our fears, our rhythms, our loneliest hours. The result wasn't enlightenment, it was capture. In the old world, power hoarded information. In the new, it floods us until we drown. Oh my God. Can you tell us and tell the guys and tell our viewers a bit about your field series? Because it's really
Yeah.
important in understanding the time in which we live and how to
Yeah.
how to
Thank you.
fight back.
Thank you. It was something I just, I've had ADHD. Well, for like, it was recently diagnosed, and so things started to make sense. Um, so I have all these mad ideas. Some of them work, some of them don't. But the medication means that I can now focus and write stuff down. So all the ideas that I've been having for so many years, I can now write down. And this series has been so. Peter Thiel was the, I'm gonna say inspiration, but when he started talking about Satan and the Antichrist, I just went, "Oh my God, because I've always been planning this, and it's like now's the time when he's starting to talk about the Antichrist and Satan, and it's like, oh my God, we have to do this. I have to do this." So I started writing it, and then so it starts off at bread, how bread and agriculture locked us to the soil, and then once you're chained to something, it controls you and you control it, and you start to develop a sort of like a symbiotic relationship, and you can't go back. So once we started to make bread, you can't go back. So it always makes me laugh about the Paleolithic diet people. It's like, mate, do you really want to do that? Because you'll die in your late 20s, and um, so that's how it started. I've got a fascination of Neolithic and Bronze Age religions and things like that. So that was the first. That was the first one, and then from there it moves into the empires. So then you start to get the Egyptian empires and how they how they controlled people again. So empires were about controlling people. So the bread is about controlling nature. The empire is about controlling people. And those empires carried on. You had the Roman Empire, then you had the Roman Catholic Empire, the Byzantine. So that all went through until about 1400, Black Death, and printing. So printing is the next point of no return, because once you start distributing ideas, where you can just go ideas all the time, you can't go back. And so that had such a like extraordinary impact that the British Empire would not have been possible without the press, because everything was printed, everything was logged and printed and sent around the world. And so it goes all the way up to so that one goes up to the 1900, and it's like that's the height of the British Empire. You know, it's like a quarter, was it a quarter of the land surface, you know, and the sun never set. Um, just an astonishing thing. And we're still suffering the ramifications now, you know. So um, so I covered up to that. And then the Holocaust, then the two world wars. That was just industry just going mad, where we just industrialized absolutely everything, you know, including death. And then the second half of the 21st century was like TV was um, a narcotic. Is that the right word? A
Yeah.
sedative. A sedative. It's like what the f happened, you know? And there's a line in there. It's sort of we set up museums, and then I referred to glass being between the viewer and the atrocity. So it could be the glass in a museum, it could be the glass on the TV, and it allowed us to remember without touching or being touched. And it's like a barrier. You know, all these horrible things are happening, but there's this barrier, and we forgot to feel, you know, so we just sort of, I don't know if it was like trauma or something, but our whole society stopped feeling. And that's what that one is about, you know, going to
Wow.
sleep.
Yeah.
And then the network was the next one. That's the next, the last point of no return is that we're chained to the ground, chained to ideas, and then chained to each other. Network has chained us to each other. And you can't go back from that. You can't go back from someone saying, I'm just going to phone up my uncle in Australia and he's there all the time. You know, no one's going to give that up. So all these people, and I just said, they're trying to turn back the clock and they can't. And that's why they're going to fail, is because they can't turn back the clock. And if you remember that, you know that you're going to win. And if you know you're going to
Mm.
win, you're not going to give up. And
Wow.
they're going to fail
Wow.
because they want to turn back the clock. That is their job. That's what they want to do. But they can't because it's too late. The genie's
Wow.
out of the bottle. We can talk. So I don't know where you are. I'm here. You guys are there. We can do this. Yeah. No one's going to give that
Yeah.
up, but they want us to give that up. They want us to give up the connections and the global nature, you know, the globalists. It's like, what's that rubbish? You know, the whole we're already global, all of us are globalists. Literally by typing on Twitter, I hate globalists, you're a globalist. Yeah. Because you're typing in India where or Nigeria or Russia or wherever,
Uh,
I hate globalists. And it goes all the way through Europe, all the way to America, and then it goes into the server, then it appears on a screen on a phone made in China, designed
mhm.
in California. It's like, just stop, just stop. But they're not going to stop. But we
No.
know they're going to lose, so we can't stop either. Yeah.
I
So we
love you.
keep going.
I love your optimism. Do you want to describe the last bit? I have one more question, and the guys probably each have a question
The
too.
last bit, yeah. So the last bit is about. So I talk about the idiots. I'd rather not focus on them because they're irrelevant in the long term. So
Mm.
AI, the way that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel look at it, they're just trying to impose order on something that they've already lost control of, right? So
Ooh.
yeah, they can't
Wow.
control it now. They can't control it because they've invented it. Yeah, fine, but you've let it out. It's out of the bag. So fine,
Wow.
we'll make NAFO dogs with it now. And it's like you can't stop us from doing that. We'll raise money with your PayPal. You made that, but we'll use it to make sure that Russia loses. And they've lost control. So they're all trying to impose order in different ways. And because they're up against each other as well as us, it creates that friction. So friction is you need that for evolution. Otherwise you just stand still. So that friction
Yeah.
will go in. We don't know what's going to happen. That's fine. We're in flux now. So the old world has gone now. We've gone past the point. So you can either mourn or you can go, right, we're going to change it or we're going to do something positive. And that's the way to look at it. It's not be dead. It's like by saying, oh, the future's going to be crap. We've already given them the future. Yeah. Whereas
Mhm.
if you go, huh, let's do this, we can do this. We've got all this stuff. We can just make it. We'll just do it. Um, that's what they don't want you to do. So you do that. You do what they don't want you to do. That's the basic rule.
I love this. I have one quick question. Just can you give us a lightning answer on the pipeline as we can draw people's
Yes. Oh
attention to
yeah,
that
you
series?
guys. Yeah, please,
One or
please.
two lines on that, and then
Yeah,
one or two
please.
lines on the nonsense tax.
Sure,
Just
sure.
lightning
Please
round.
read. Yeah, yeah, please read the pipeline. It's really important for American people to understand how Russia infiltrated their government, your government.
Mhm.
Um, it started with the Duran and the Saker and all the crap conspiracies, but they fed
Mhm.
it into the far right militia groups. Um,
Mhm.
there are emails on DDoS secrets that you can go and read. The chat rooms are on there. You can go and have. I had a look. So you can go and have a look. You can get the files, have a look, and see how it worked. It's horrific stuff. I do apologize if, but you can see how they twisted them, and you can then the pipeline then traces that those lies and that sort of those narratives. You can trace them all the way to the government. So Robert Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, David Sachs specifically, those three people are I class them as literally working for Russia. So those three shouldn't be, they should be in jail, those three, to be honest. But they, I trace the story and expose what they're doing and why they're doing it, using proof, documentary proof that explains why they're there, what they're doing. That's the pipeline. So
Okay,
please read it. It's really important for American people
great.
to understand what's happened. The other one is the nonsense tax. Now, I lost some family in America to QAnon. They started texting me about sort of bizarre, weird shit. And I was sort of, no, I'm leaving Facebook. I'm not having this. Um, so that is why the nonsense. So this, all these lies, they say, oh yeah, we must grow the economy. And it's like, but everything you're doing is designed to not grow the economy. So because I've got the economic background, I started to just sit down and just work out how much everything costs. So you can
Yeah.
work out lawyers' fees, police fees, prison fees. You can work out medical charges. You can work out tariffs, but it's also that it distorts policies. So it makes you make the wrong decision for your country. So the growth will flatten. You won't grow as fast because you're making the wrong decisions. And it's just incredibly expensive. It just does not make sense. You know, they all stand up saying, we must grow the economy. And I'm saying, you're doing completely the wrong thing. You know, all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Imagine how much money, how much productivity
Yeah,
in
it's huge.
America has been wasted on
Oh yeah, I
interpreting fucking
calculated it.
Q drops,
Yeah, I
right? Like,
calculated it. Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah,
I, you know,
I did actually calculate it, and you've lost trillions.
of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just unbelievable. And you didn't
And
need
a
to be.
lot of lives. And a
Yeah,
lot of lives.
yes. But you didn't need to do this to be made great again because you were pretty damn cool in the first place. You had awesome cars and amazing cocktails and roof bars on your hotels, and um, it was just um, San Francisco is the most amazing place, and New York is stunning, and it's like you're great anyway. You know,
Yeah.
everyone likes you pretty much. You did some daft things. Everyone does daft things, right? But everyone liked you. We thought you were cool. Your TV was cool. Your movies were great. And then all of a sudden, it's like, we need to be made great again. It's like, huh? You're already great. It
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. It's just nonsense. And that was the thing
Yeah.
that I covered in the, I'll go back to the other one, is the restoration block. I call them the restoration block. These mad leaders who want to turn back the clock. They can't
Yeah.
because we've gone past the point of no return. So, um, yeah, it's,
Wow. Thank you for that brief
yeah,
run
no worries.
through.
It wasn't very brief.
Jim,
I'm really sorry.
Oh
no,
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 that
it
was
was great. It
amazing.
was great. It was great. It was
I just
perfect.
wanted to ask you briefly, because I've studied a lot about a lot of psychological warfare
Mhm.
techniques and tactics, and
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how much you guys had those things in mind, considering that a lot of this is Russian psychological warfare
Yeah.
being played out, most
hmm
often through proxies.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what they are, if you know what they are trying to do and the
Yeah.
tactics they are using,
Yeah.
it's far easier to combat them. And I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if you kind of
Yes.
explicitly went down that road in your thinking,
Okay.
your
No,
reaction.
everything we've done has been completely random.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So it's either worked or not worked. And then things split, things go down, things don't work or they do work. We took it as a Darwinian slime mold, whatever you want to call it, approach. But because we're based mainly in Europe, despite what people think, um, you'll never guess that we aren't actually paid by the CIA. Um,
No.
most of us are European. We have a lot of people from Eastern Europe who lived under communist regimes. They understand this like the back of their hands. They
Mhm.
know exactly how it works. Some of them, one of my friends from Romania was removed from his parents by the communists. He was assigned a number. His parents were deemed enemies of the state. Um,
Wow.
and he was brought up in a sort of Stalinist sort of cult type thing. Um, Incidentally, it's Soviet Cosmism, which was the sort of weird religion that he was in. Elon Musk and his dad, they follow exactly the same crap.
Yeah.
I've written a
Peter Thiel and his blood swapping. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
cosmology.
this
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
I've
Soviet
written books
cosmos.
on this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got experts on it because they've lived it. We don't
Right.
have many academics, but we have people who have sort of lived experience of this stuff, and so it's in our DNA. It's not that we had to learn how to do it. We already knew.
Right,
So we didn't have to study anything. There were these people here and they would just went, oh yeah, yeah, this was like when I was a kid.
right.
Just do this, just do this. And it's like, ah, yeah, yeah, we'll do that. Um,
And for Matthew, it's personal too, because you lost family, Polish family members, right? Like this
yes,
is all very personal.
yeah, they were in Eastern Europe and they were taken to Poland via the Warsaw Ghetto. Just my I had two great uncles and my grandmother survived. Everyone else was killed. Um,
There you
so
go.
yeah,
There it is. I
it's just
mean,
and I just see the same things happening at the moment in America. I mean, there is a scale of genocide, where it goes one, two, there's steps. There's steps. If you go and Google
yeah,
it, there's steps 1 to 9. You guys are between 7 and 8, right?
it's
That's
so
where
important that somebody
that's where you
actually with
are.
experience tells us that. And
Yeah, I can see it happening. There's a scale, you can Google it, genocide scale. It goes up to 9, so 10. 10 is denial, where you do it and then afterwards you say you didn't do it. But 9 is where you just kill everybody. 8 is where you set up camps. Sounds familiar, right? And then you start deporting people, you start stealing the property, random killings, um, random deportations, and then you have practice killings where a camp disappears, you know, or do you know where all your camps are? So all these prison camps that are being set up, you know where they all are, right? Do you? Do you know where they are? No,
Not at
you
all.
don't.
I,
No, you don't know where they are. So you could be at 8, you could be at 9. You don't know. And so
yeah,
this is where you are. You don't know because they aren't telling you, and that's why Congress has been shut down, is they don't want you to know what's going on. And you could be at 7, could be at 8, you could be at 9. You guys don't know anymore. There could be camps in Texas, there could be camps in Alaska. You don't know, right? And so that's why it's dangerous to shut this. Why they're taking your voice away is so that you can't find out, and that is the most important thing. Um,
and like you said, we don't have a lot of time. So please take
yeah,
that as an urgent warning. And Hi-Fi, do you have
from
any other
someone who's
questions
been in
before
there.
we?
I'll just say
Yes.
the two main groups to look at, from what I've seen, the ones who've been dehumanized the most are transgender people and Latin Americans, specifically
Mhm,
Mexicans and Haitians. So
mhm,
they are the people that need to be protected the most. And I'm being serious that
mhm.
you need to look after these people because they're going to be the first ones to go. And I'm serious.
Well, we
That's the
understand that.
situation that you're in.
Yeah, we understand that. Thank you for that
Yep.
reminder to be boosting up the the populations that are most vulnerable.
Yeah,
Hi-Fi, do you
yeah.
have any final question before I ask one more for one more comment?
Not a question, just one more comment. Keep up the good fight, Matt.
Well, thank you, mate, and
Yeah.
I love your hat.
One more thing from me. We are very afraid when we look across the shores further over the waves and we see Nigel Farage's name in the news all the time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
knowing his association with Nathan Gill, knowing their associations with Russia, and being very worried that this flu, this
Yeah.
fever in America
Ah,
could, be a malignant thing in the UK. And tell our audience again in just a couple brief
it's
lines what the
yeah,
reality is.
yeah. So it's always been here. There's always been that. It's always been here. They've just changed their name. British National Party, the National Front, UKIP, Brexit Party, Reform now. Yeah. So they've always been here. They've always been politicians like that. So, and we've usually dealt with them. The interesting thing is that there's the Russian thing, which is normally on the left wing side. Um, people like George Galloway, but they've sort of merged. Um, I don't see it as a problem because our parliamentary system means there is not going to be another election, an important election, until 2029. So that's after Trump's may go. I don't know, but I suspect there's going to be a bigger war in Europe before then. Putin is not going to carry on like this. So Farage is the least of my worries at the moment. I'm worried about Ukraine and I'm worried about you guys. We can look after our football fans and their flags. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Matthew, this was such a brilliant interview. Promise you'll come back.
Yeah, it should have me. Yeah. If I may stop talking, I'm not sure.
No, it was amazing, man, and fantastic to meet you, and proud of you guys and what you do,
Thank you.
and
Yeah. If
keep
you meet a
going.
NAFO dog, just be nice because they've got friends.
Every single time. I have learned this. I have learned
Yeah.
this.
There was a Russian, there was a Russian troll. It's like, right, I'm going to sort these dogs out. And his one of the other ones said, whatever you do, don't talk to the dogs.
And you win.
We win.
You win.
Yeah.
Victory. Declare
Victory.
victory.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Matt.
No worries.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
Awesome.
so much.
Really nice to meet you at last, Jim.
Yeah, you too, man.
See you on the internet.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.